I even got like a thing pulled up for, I just pulled like a random image of Danielle Harris running. Is she running to the Halloween franchise? I think so. Halloween's on the other end of that. It's like they're holding the carrot and she's running to it. Okay, I guess that's the theme here. But so just to set the table for you, if they just had their 100th episode of the Talk Scary to Me podcast, and there's a section in there where she talks about the Halloween franchise. She talks about hopes and dreams and putting things out into the universe and what she would like to see happen. And she does mention a word that I actually brought up, I think, on my last live stream. It might have been the last one, the one before that. But I actually brought this word up and thinking nobody else would ever bring this word up. And she brought it up. So Martin Chamberlain, thank you so much. He says, running from the director, don't ask. Could be. So with that said, I'm going to play this clip, and I'd say it's like 4 to 5 minutes, okay? But I'll probably stop it along the way to comment on some of the things. But yeah, so put on your listening ears. All right, here we go.
So basically, since our show's going to grow, we're going to do a tour next year. I'm going to have a rebirth in the Halloween franchise. You're going to get pregnant a year, 2 years after you get married. The first year you'll be married. You might be living in Kentucky or Austin. The second year you'll move to Austin, where Tom and you can open up the Austin offices of the production company that he's working for now.
Amazing.
So what she's doing there is because I think Scout asked her about, what her future hopes and dreams are, manifestations, stuff like that. And so that's what she was spouting off. That one day she started thinking about all these different things that she wants to do within the next 3 years, right? Have you ever done that? Like somebody tells you, hey, write down what you want to do in the next 3 years, okay? And which is a good exercise, actually. Let me get this super chat real quick. Riddick's Whorehouse, he says, hey, Lee, I barely get the chance to catch you live, but I'm here. Long live physical media. I want a proper sequel to Halloween 4. Boom, yes. Long live physical media for sure, and a proper sequel to Halloween 4. That's my number one Halloween wish list. I know it's selfish on my part. I know some people are like, just let it go, man. Danielle Harris has had her turn. We don't want her back. A lot of people don't want her back, but I think a lot of people do want her back too, if I'm being honest. And I brought this up a while back. She would never do a fan film. At least I don't think she would do a fan film. But if somebody were able to talk her into doing a fan film, and with a budget like we see in like big fan films these days, let's just say they wanted to raise $25,000 for Danielle Harris. And I'll ask you guys right now, would you contribute to that $25,000? Could be $5, could be $10, could be 20, whatever, whatever you donate these days to get the Blu-ray or whatever. And do you think they could raise that for Danielle Harris? For $25,000, that's just her portion of the movie. And let's say the movie has to be like $300,000. They need a $300,000 budget to make this movie, because it's a fan film budget, right? But you can make some quality freaking fan films these days that look really professional, fantastic lighting, cinematography, acting, everything across the board, music. So I'm seeing a lot of yes. I see an I don't know by Dave Vanderoff. You wouldn't jump on that? Dude, I would throw my money at my computer. Are you kidding me? Jay Dizzla says, I would pay $2,000, no questions asked. And I guarantee you there's some people out there that would do the same. For a Danielle Harris as Jamie Lloyd, a character we haven't seen in 35 years-ish. Oh my God, I think people would jump at it. Okay, so anyway, let's listen further, okay? Listen to what she's saying, okay? Listen to what she's saying. Here we go.
Saying, ooh, what are you doing with the Halloween franchise?
Oh, yeah, I wish. I'm just praying to
just put it in the universe, man.
I didn't even start it. It started coming to me a lot over the last year. And it was like people had always kind of brought it up way before, like before Rob's on, like right when Rob's was starting, they were like, do you think he'll come back? Do you think he'll come back? You know, and I was like, oh, I would love to, but I doubt it. You know, I don't.
Just pausing right there. I think because she's saying she was getting this stuff back as far as when she did the Rob Zombie movie. I think they were talking about Jamie Lloyd. Would you come back as Jamie Lloyd? I don't think they were necessarily saying, would you come back to the franchise as any character in general? I think people love the character Jamie Lloyd. I could be wrong, but that's what I'm thinking. Like, for her to come back to the franchise as a different character, you know, as Annie, I was really excited, but I wasn't as excited as I would have been for a Jamie Lloyd story. And that's just me, okay? Anyway. Moving on. Here we go. Keep listening. Keep listening.
Yeah. I don't know how we could do that, and it happened. I was like, put it out in the universe. Put it out in the universe. You know, I feel like every person that comes up to me or that I talk to or that we do interviews with talks about, you know, this new rebirth of the Halloween universe, and you know, it's like the reason why I've existed so far before I had my family. So, would I love to be part of that world in some way? Absolutely.
Have you tried to reach out to them about it?
Okay, before I hit play, I'm going to let you see, you know, I'm giving you the tease right now. Have you reached out to them about it? Okay. Now, I got Chris Snyder, he says, and a lot of people, I guarantee, are thinking just like Chris Snyder. She got to be in 4 Halloween movies. We love her, but she's had her time in the franchise. Chris is not wrong. He's not wrong. 4 times is quite a few times to be in these movies. Granted, 2 of them, she was a child, a little child. 2 of them, she was an adult, but she wasn't Jamie Lloyd. So let's put it this way, okay? Just answer Chris. If she got to play Jamie Lloyd for all 4 of those movies, if the adult version of Danielle Harris in those last 2 movies, if she was Jamie Lloyd, I'd be like, okay, yeah, I'm done. I'm shutting my mouth. We had our Jamie Lloyd storyline. Let's move on. But the reason that I am constantly almost begging for a Jamie Lloyd movie is because we've only had her as a child. I want to see where Jamie Lloyd is now as an adult. Halloween 4 and really the Thorn trilogy, it means so much to me. It's like the thing that drives me about the franchise. I love that trilogy so much, and a part of it's nostalgia. You know, I saw Halloween 4 in the theater when I was 15 years old. It was the first Halloween movie I saw in the theater, and it was the only Halloween movie to scare the living shit out of me. And part of that was because of a child, making a child evil, and it stung. It hit me hard, and so just the idea of maybe a direct sequel to Halloween 4. In the modern day, I'm literally getting chills right now just thinking about it, you know? And I know that there's a lot of people that don't like Halloween 4 and they don't like the Thorn trilogy, and this ain't for them. And I respect that. That's fine, okay? This is more for the people that are just like really in love with that era of the franchise, which I am. I mean, I'll even say this right now. I watch 4 probably more than the original movie, and I watch the original movie constantly. So, yeah. Okay. Well, Chris deserves a response here. Here we go. He says, Halloween 4 is my favorite in the whole franchise. I love the Thorn trilogy too. I just don't see what you do with Jamie Lloyd now after 2 sets of reboots. Would casual audiences care about Halloween 4? He does bring up a good point. This ain't going to make the money that Jamie Lee Curtis made, you know? And I think in defense of Jamie Lloyd, Laurie Strode, the Jamie Lee Curtis version, has had her time in the sun so many times. Hell, even if you include the Scout version, that's Laurie Strode. So Laurie Strode's been in, I can't even count how many movies. All right. So Jamie Lloyd, the Danielle Harris version at least, has only been in 2 movies. So I want to see that updated version of the character. But yeah, it's not going to make the money that Jamie Lee Curtis made. And I know that. So this is a selfish thing for me. It's a selfish thing for Jamie Lloyd fans. I definitely acknowledge that. Okay. Now, here we go. Just to catch you up, she said, have you reached out to the studio? Okay. Now we continue. All right, here we go.
I mean, I messaged I emailed a couple of years ago before this was announced about, ideas that I have for a TV show, and a movie, and before even like Chucky was on the air kind of thing, and was like,
So she emailed about an idea for a TV show. Did I hear that right, guys? She emailed about a TV show idea even before Chucky. And she did it like while they were in the middle of this current trilogy. All right. Anyway, here we go.
thing that everybody's doing now. And, they were in the middle of doing those 3 movies. So it wasn't like there was an opportunity to discuss it at the ideas that I have for a TV show, and a movie. Part of that world in some way? Absolutely.
Have you tried to reach out to them about it?
I mean, I messaged I emailed a couple of years ago before this was announced about, ideas that I have for a TV show, and a movie, and before even like Chucky was on the air kind of thing, and was like a thing that everybody's doing now. And, they were in the middle of doing those 3 movies. So it wasn't like there was an opportunity to discuss it at that point. Yeah. But I don't know. I think I just would really love to see what could happen. And they're talking about a multiverse, I guess. So it's like there's all these different.
Boom. Did you hear that? She literally said they're talking about a multiverse. That's kind of an open-ended statement. Like, are they literally talking about a multiverse for the franchise? Let me hear that again. I want to hear that again because I'm not so sure. Hold on. We're going to hear that again. Hold on.
Timelines, you've got your time, an opportunity to discuss it at that point. Yeah. But I don't know. I think I just would really love to see what could happen. They're talking about a multiverse, I guess. So it's like there's all these different timelines. You've got your timeline. I've got my timeline. Everyone's got their sort of thing.
I would love to come back too. I feel like, I feel something with Andy for sure. 100%.
Okay. Yes, I think I'm taking from that the word multiverse is being thrown around in the Halloween camp. Okay? I don't think nothing's been official, nothing's been greenlit, but I think, and I'm shocked myself, and I actually mentioned this idea, not saying I came up with the idea, this is just something that I would want. But I mentioned this, I think on the last stream, there's a clip that I put out about it. Would you welcome a Halloween multiverse? But that is the last thing that I ever would have thought that they would even entertain. And to me, from what she's saying, it's out there. And Danielle Harris is pretty dug into the Halloween community. It's like the mafia. Once you're part of the mafia, you're always part of the mafia, even when you're done. She will always be in the Halloween family. So I'm sure if you're in that family, especially if you're as close as they are, then you might know a little bit more than the public knows. Okay, this isn't like a bombshell, breaking news or anything like that. But she said it. She said there's talk of a multiverse and different timelines. And, how could you address that in, say, a TV series environment? And I think that's exactly the way you address it. You can't really do that in a movie, a Halloween multiverse, and I'm not talking like science fiction type deal. I'm talking about just because there's so many different timelines in the franchise, you could have an episode that's just for this timeline, an episode for this timeline. And you got Scout Taylor Compton jumping in there saying, I would love to come back. So that right there, you got at least Scout Taylor Compton saying she would come back. Of course, Danielle Harris is begging to come back. And then there's a name that they just mentioned. You heard it, Andy Matichak would love to come back to the franchise. Let's keep listening.
I don't know. I just get that.
Yeah,
sort of
that she's not done. Yeah,
which would be really cool.
They're talking about
really, really cool for her.
Maybe she'll come seek out her.
I just hope they're
her
great.
Aunt.
I just hope they're really good.
Now that her mom said she'll come seek out her Aunt Jamie, that's living in fucking God knows where to help her battle Michael Myers.
It's so
Okay, now she's playing around, obviously, with that idea of Allison seeking out her Aunt Jamie. She's playing around, but that could happen. It's never said in the David Gordon Green trilogy because we know that Laurie Strode was married twice. And it's never stated if she has any more children. So as long as it's possible, then anything, it's fair game. That's what I'm trying to say. So there could literally be still a Jamie Lloyd in maybe an alternate Halloween universe. I don't know. Okay. But the idea of Allison, because she's, her story could still continue, right? Yeah, Michael Myers, as we know it, is dead, but we didn't see them take away Corey's body, all right? Now, she doesn't mention Corey. She mentions Michael Myers. So they would have to, we've had so many timelines anyway, but yeah, it just got, I don't think they're going to do that, but it definitely, it gets the wheels turning, right?
funny. And then maybe, like you did, maybe I'll play her friend.
Yes, bitch.
How funny is that?
Yes.
It's so strange. Like, I'm really excited for all these like franchises that they're doing for all these horror movies, but for some reason I can't picture these big scale movies on TV format, especially like horror. I feel like is a movie.
Oh, really? I think I would love to see 13 hours of something each season of like what could evolve from these characters, in that world.
I'm trying to picture it, but I mean, obviously we have to get used to it because, TV's the new movies now. Like movies.
Well, I think what has connected people with horror for so long has been the good horror has been the relationships on screen, hence you and I, or me and Ellie Cornell, or, all the dynamic of,
Okay, I'll stop it right there. I think that's enough that you need to hear, but I definitely wanted to play it until she actually said Ellie Cornell, because I think I would love Jamie Lloyd to come back, but man, if they had freaking Rachel come back with Jamie Lloyd, I would probably jump out a window. Like I couldn't stand the excitement. That's how crazy I am about that duo. And it could, if this was like a direct sequel to 4, then Rachel's still alive, and it could happen. Here's another observation I got to make about this too, okay? And another reason why I think it's not as crazy as you think it is. I think it's much more possible for something like a multiverse or even a Jamie Lloyd story to happen because of the Talk Scary to Me podcast. I think that podcast definitely has some momentum behind it. They actually stated that they probably get more comments from fans of the podcast than they do of Halloween at this point. It's a really popular podcast. It's getting bigger and bigger. They just signed a deal with Bloody Disgusting. I don't know the specifics of the deal, but I know that the Talk Scary to Me podcast, it is getting bigger and bigger, and we all know how Hollywood works. If you're it, then you're in, right? And I think if they didn't have that podcast, then they probably wouldn't even be thought about. But because of the audience that they reach now, I think it is a possibility. And it is cool that they actually met Andy Matichak, because I was always wondering, like, do they even like each other? Do they know each other? And I just went to this convention over not last weekend, but the weekend before that. I went to Spooky Empire, where they were all three there. They were actually on, like, you had Scout and Danielle on one wall, and then on the opposite end side of that wall, if you walked around the corner, there was Kathleen Kenmont and Andy Matichak and Nancy Keys Loomis. So it was like you had three there, and then you come in the turn around, and then you got Scout and Danielle. So they were all talking amongst each other. I know that Danielle talked to Andy Matichak for a good bit. I know Scout tried to, but they couldn't, because they were always busy. They couldn't get in the same place at the same time. But then Andy actually texted Scout. So, And I think Anna Matichak's still got a little bit of muscle behind her too. You know, she's a young actress. She's a very, very good actress, and she's loved in the Halloween community. I think most people at least like Allison as a character. So just a lot to think about there, a lot to kind of mull over. And it's anybody's guess. I think a TV show is definitely coming, you know? Now, 6 months down the line, a TV show could be completely out the window. You know how Hollywood is. You know how the Halloween franchise is. Hell, they were dead set on doing Halloween Returns, the Marcus Dunstan movie. They were dead set on doing that until they didn't. You know, until John Carpenter entered the fold. And then boom, okay, we're done. We're scrapping that. So 6 months down the road, they could scrap the TV idea. Who knows? So I think we're going to see some announcements within the next 6 months. That's what I think. What's up, guys? You are at the end of the DD Live clip. What I do is I like to clip these out if I think the topic is important or something that's newsworthy. So thank you for watching. And if you want to watch more, you can go over here. You can go over here, click on one of those. And hopefully I can do this for 20 seconds, which I think I did. Okay, so yeah, thanks for watching, guys.